Hey everyone, I've got two quick Stadia updates for you. One of them good, one of them bad. Let's go ahead and get started. This morning, I was at work and I realized that I couldn't sign into my Gmail. I couldn't sign into my Google Drive or Google Classroom or any YouTube stuff. I couldn't sign into anything that required you to authenticate with Google. And that also means that Stadia was down. So I guess it was down for about a half an hour. And of course, I saw a whole bunch of people tweeting. They were like, well, look at this. This is why you don't want to have games in the cloud and stuff like that. And this isn't necessarily aimed at those people, but it's really in response to them. I wonder if they have forgotten about the time when PlayStation Network was hacked and it was down for almost a month, or the time when Xbox got hacked as well. My point is, unless you're talking about incredibly old hardware, I'm talking like NES, Super NES, N64, Sega Genesis, that kind of thing. The current consoles are all susceptible to this kind of thing. So, is it a big deal that Stadia was down? I don't know if it's a big deal. Is it irritating? Absolutely. I'm sure that there were a lot of people who were getting ready to play a game where they were in the middle of a game and suddenly they weren't able to play their game for about a half an hour. And to everybody who tries to use that as ammunition, I guess, as for a reason why you want to not use cloud gaming, I would say that our uptime that we have had from when Stadia first turned on November 19th, 2000, November 18th, 2000, November 2019 until now, to have a half hour of downtime in that time, I think that that's pretty good. And you could go to a store. Well, okay, if you could actually find a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, you could go to a store and buy one of those consoles and bring it home, and most of the time you'd be okay. Most of the time everything would be fine. But if the power went out, you wouldn't be able to play. And if your internet went out, you wouldn't be able to play most of the modes in a lot of the games. So I feel like it's kind of a paper tiger to say, well, if your internet goes down, then you can't play your games. And while that's true, um, it's really not going to happen all that often. Anyway, let's move on past the bad news to the good news. The good news is that thing that we've been waiting for since October, well, actually, since last year, I think it was at E3 last year, Phil Harrison was getting an interview with somebody at E3, and they said, hey, we can also have subscriptions on top of Stadia. So, Ubisoft Plus, that kind of thing. And ever since then, people have been waiting. When are we getting it? Well, back in October, Google and Ubisoft, they made their announcement. They said it's called Uplay, or they changed it from Uplay Plus, and now they just call it Ubisoft Plus. And it's going to be available on Google Stadia by the end of the year. Well, today is the 14th. It is still by the end of the year. And between the 14th and the 17th, it is slowly rolling out. So starting today with the rollout continuing through December 17th, Ubisoft Plus subscribers in the US only for now can connect the subscription to their Google account, giving them access to games like Immortals Fenyx Rising, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and Watch Dogs Legion. In addition to the base game, each title includes access to premium editions and DLC. I look at Ubisoft Plus not as a selling point for Stadia, but as one more way. I I don't look at it as a reason for people to jump into Stadia. I look at Stadia as one more way for people to take advantage of Ubisoft Plus. Hopefully I phrased that correctly. I don't think that there's going to be a lot of people out there who, well, okay, that's probably not true. I think that there's a lot of people who look at Ubisoft Plus and their partnership with Stadia and they say, ah, okay, well, I'm only subscribing to Stadia because of Ubisoft Plus now. I don't think that's really going to be the case. However, I think there's going to be a lot of people who play on Stadia because of Ubisoft Plus where they wouldn't have otherwise. Whether or not they subscribe is a completely different thing because Ubisoft Plus games and DLC are available to play with no special gaming hardware, meaning you don't have to have a Stadia controller and you do not have to have Stadia Pro. Now, if you have Stadia Pro, then you'll have those advantages of Stadia Pro like 4K, like HDR, that kind of thing. I think Dolby surround sound, or all of the stuff that comes with Stadia Pro, you'll be able to take advantage of that stuff on Ubisoft Plus. But let's say you're just an Ubisoft Plus subscriber and you want to play the games that you've been playing on your computer. Perhaps you want to play them on your Chromebook. Well, now you're going to be able to at no extra cost. And I think that that is really, really good. I love that they did not try and stack the subscriptions. I think that that would have been a huge mistake. So, how many of you out there, already have access to this? How many of you have been able to link your accounts? How many of you are going to subscribe to Ubisoft Plus? And how many of you are going to wait it out and decide not to? For me, I haven't decided. I know that there's a lot of Ubisoft games, but I don't know if I want to subscribe to yet another thing. I kind of have subscription fatigue, and I would rather have Stadia Pro than Ubisoft Plus. But that's just me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.